So this is episode 2 of the CRX restoration. So far, the interior's all been handed to the upholsterer. That's door cards, seats and dash. We've also got all the other interior bits getting redone by myself and my dad. So all the glove box, the center console, all that's all getting like wet and dry sanded with like 800 grit and 1200 grit sandpaper, and then I'm using adhesion promoter and bumper and trim paint, and they're all from Repco. So like you American guys will have something else over there which is probably similar, and all of it's just getting taken back to black. But I'm just doing what I can to make sure it's like a proper job and it'll hold as long as it can through like the hot and cold. And in Australia it's like 0 degrees to 40 between winter and summer, so there's a lot of room for expanding and contracting and the paint to crack. So the bumper and trim paint is meant to be the best because it just flexes quite a lot. And I've got some video now of me doing the center console and a few of the dash bits that were all green. Other than that, I just went to the shop today to find out how much it's going to cost to get it painted. The whole car's going to get sanded back to straight metal. The engine bay, that's getting left because all the paint in there is fine. You can just cut and polish that and it'll come up like brand new. It's just the rest of the bodywork that isn't. So it's going to be a good month or two of getting it back to bare metal, completely straightening it out and getting it repainted. The plan is to just go with black, just the factory paint that it was, to just keep it more original than anything. Because I know there are lots of people my age that like love the idea of just having a race car painted like midnight purple or whatever other cool colour you have. But there's also a lot of people that would prefer it just stay original, and it's less hassle to just paint it the colour it was, have the engine bay match as well, and just keep it true or like authentic Japanese import. Other than that, what else is there? The wheels need to get restored. I'm getting new tyres on those, and I think I'm just going to go with the matte black for the wheels. I've just got to get some rollers for the time being to sit them on, just so I can move the car in and around the garage. But the wheels are genuine rays, so I'm just going to get them sandblasted back and powder coated, just like a matte black and silver with the studs around, just so it's got like a little bit of colour to it or something a bit different than just everything being black. And other than that, all I've got to worry about is just finding seals for all the glass, because all the glass is going to come out when it gets painted. It's going to be all set back to a shell, so when it's painted everything's done properly, everything gets painted, so there's no spots where rust could start growing or anything like that. I'm filming! I'm filming! Thanks! Anyway. So the shell has to all get sanded back, and the glasses all got to come out, so it's just a pure shell. So then everything can get painted evenly, everything will look really clean, smooth and finished properly, and that's just so the car does last. It's not going to be a $3,000 paint job that'll last me 5 years and then that's it, the car's just turned to dust because it's all just rusted away. It's going to be completely taken back and done properly, so it should last forever, really. As long as you clean it and put it under cover, there shouldn't be anything wrong with it for the next half a century. And other than that, mechanically, everything's working fine. There are plans down the track to do some stuff to the motor as well as the transmission. I'm not going to swap it. I know in America and other places around the world it's a lot easier than in Australia, but if you do something here, a lot of the time you've got to get engineering certificates and whatnot if you change anything. If you go and turbo it, you've got to get engineer certificate. And unless you know an engineer and you just pay them $100 for them to write a certificate, you're going to have to pay a couple of grand for them to confirm it's all engineered. Or if something's not right, they're going to have to then engineer it. So the plan is to just change the final drive on the ZC from the ZC final drive, which is 3.8, to I think the SI final drive, which is like a 4.25. Because all the gears are already shorter, it's just that final drive that was lacking. And everyone that I've asked about it has said that that would make the best NA kind of short geared gearbox, which is still like quite budget friendly, because all I'm doing is putting a final drive in. And then mods to the motor, it's going to be cams if I can find them, because there's not many dual overhead cams for like D series. Everything's single cam, everything's VTEC, there's nothing on the other side. And then other plans will be ProLite rods, so they're not going to be some 1,000 horsepower rod that'll handle everything, but they're rated for about 450 horsepower, and I'm never going to make that NA, but it just keeps me at ease knowing that I can rev the crap out of it, I can give it a bit of a bashing, and I know the rods aren't going to fail. Pistons wise, I'm going to get something that'll raise up the compression. I've just got to calculate it properly, so I know exactly how much I'm raising it by, depending on like what other D series piston I use when I put it in. Other than that, I'm getting a full exhaust made, 2.5 inch, out the back. That's going to have quad tips, and I'm going to match up a nice D series header and just get it ported and shaped so it fits properly and there's no flat spots between the header and the actual block. And then other than that, yeah, it's just waiting on little bits and pieces to get it fully finished, but right now I'm waiting for the interior to get done, and then I can start getting it painted, and then that should be pretty much it. It should be ready to kind of go on the road. I mean, everything else that needed to be done, all the little mechanical bits and bobs, changing the brakes, that kind of stuff, that's all been done. It's pretty much just the pretty work now, which is just getting it all looking nice. So when I do take it to get it registered, the people that are going to hopefully register it for me or give me a roadworthy certificate, they'll be able to look at it and see that I've actually put some effort and some money in. It's not just Cheryl and Jeff who have come down in their $500 Mitsubishi Magna that just got stickered and they're trying to get it back on the road. So fingers crossed everything goes well, but that's where I'm at right now.
Making fluffy French bulldogs.
Yes.
Oh! Yeah!
Blowjob!
So!
Hey!
I don't want it to be like that. Wait! Oh!
Alright. So far in the car. I mean, I don't even know actually how to open this now that this is... Anyway, so far in the car. We got this flashing light. That's the immobilizer that works. In Australia, you can't actually register a car without one. So, although it'll prevent from someone stealing it, it'll prevent the criminals. We need it anyway, otherwise the car won't be able to go on the road. We won't be able to get it registered. So that's been done. It'll be stuck in the dash somewhere under here when the dash is back. The guy that is doing my upholstery, my dash, my seats, my door cards, his name's Brett. Once I get him back, I'll show you guys, and his work is spot on auto trimmers for anyone in WA that needs that kind of stuff. But you'll be able to see his work firsthand once I get the seats and stuff back. And then I'll just mention his work and whatnot again, so you guys know if that's what you need, that's what you need. Slowly but surely getting there. Rocker cover gasket was done. We sandblasted the rocker cover, or cam cover, or whatever you want to call it. So that's silver now. Sump gasket, that's replaced. Molded carpet, that's arrived. That's actually in my other car. So we're just not putting anything in yet because the plan this afternoon is to actually take this down and get it painted. Nice. What else? Windows tinted once it gets back from paint. I need to remove, you can kind of see the differences between the tint. I got one of these. Everyone's like, whoa, what is that? It's just a floppy bit of plastic. But that's actually the wheel well lining, because we've got wires and stuff for the bulbs, and it's probably best to not leave that all exposed unless it's a full race car and you don't need to worry about anything. But yep, that was picked up from a guy for $30 up in Lower Chittering, so like 30 k's like north east from the workshop. So that was like 2 hours all up, back and forth. But it's getting there. Slow and steady. We'll get there. That's missing. Sandblasted. I'll probably paint it later, but as of right now, I'm not too sure what color. When I first got here, the work was spent on the daily, because as you can see, the engine's a bit on the piss. I broke one of the mounts somewhere down there, so we've ordered that. Replaced the rocker cover gasket because it was notably leaking quite a bit. But yeah, now we're just getting some little fiddly nice bits. Stop all the leaks, stop all the oil getting out, make everything shiny, get it all up to a nice spec for the roadworthy. Because you got to keep the people happy, make it look nice. Make it look nice.
Ow, my ass! I'm trying to pop monomers out of the fucking corner.
The motorbike.
Right, I'll tell you what,